Hello everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com and I am here today to wish you a happy new year. I'm so excited for 2018. I've been giving the Sewspire channel a lot of thought, and something was just kind of nagging at me, like there's something missing from this platform. It's been a little over 2 years since I first launched Sewspire.com, and in that time I went back and counted up all the tutorials that I thought were good quality. Some of the early ones were not so great. I apologize for that. But there's a total of 58 tutorials. That's a lot of free sewing tutorials. And some of those projects are really awesome, like great gifts, and they incorporated really clever construction techniques. And I know from your emails and your comments that you all have learned a lot. And believe it or not, I've learned too as we go. A lot of times I really don't even know exactly what we're going to make, and I just start making something, and then it will kind of morph and change into whatever that project was for that week. And so I make a prototype before I record the tutorial, and then by the time I record the tutorial, that will be my second time ever making that item, and I'll show you all how to make it. So it's been a really intriguing, interesting process, but I feel like after 2 years of producing the tutorials that I have reached a point where now we need to do something different. And I just didn't really know what that different was, because I love sewing. Sewing is the medium in which I have chosen to personally express my creativity. But what I realized is that sewing's not actually the source of my creativity. That's just how I express it, or one of the ways that I express it. So since the name of the channel is Sewspire, what eventually came to me was we need to focus on the inspiration component of this for a little while. And that's going to be my focus for 2018, is looking beyond the actual finished product and talking about why and where and how this inspiration comes to be. I think that that's a topic worth talking about. Now, when you think about and just look at sewing from a broad perspective, there was a time not so long ago that people, women in particular, had to sew. They were not given a choice. It was more like a chore, because if they wanted clothes and they wanted their children and family to have clothing, they had to sew it. That's no longer the case. And honestly, you really can't make something cheaper than you could go to the store and buy it. So there are probably very few people who still sew because they have to sew. So sewing itself has gone through a transition, and now people sew because they want to sew. And what I want to talk about, at least for a year, maybe longer, is why. Why do you want to sew? So that's what we're going to do. And as part of that segment, or it isn't even a segment, as part of this segue into the inspirational part of Sewspire, I'm going to just be keeping a very detailed log of all the things that inspire me, and then I'll be popping in once a week to share those ideas with you. Sometimes I might fire up the sewing machine and we'll make something, but there'll be less actual instruction, because I feel like the site is really, with 58 tutorials, that mission has been accomplished. And if you watch all 58 tutorials, you will know how to sew. I've got projects for beginners all the way to advanced sewists there. So I feel like we've covered that. So one of the things, just a tiny part of what we're going to be talking about, is fabric, because this is one of the greatest sources of inspiration for me, and probably what I get the most excited about. And I do realize, because I own and operate a successful sewing business called Watermelon Wishes, that I really have exposure to and get to work with a lot of different fabrics that, say, the home sewist might not have the pleasure of working with, just because cost would be so prohibitive. A really nice yard of quilt weight cotton costs about $12 a yard now. So I mean, I'm just guessing off the top of my head, this is probably $1,000 worth of fabric sitting here right now. So you're probably not spending that kind of money, but what I can do is share with you some of my favorite prints, save you some money by making suggestions so you don't have to take chances ordering your fabric. If you're lucky enough to have a local fabric shop, that's more fun because you can go in and look and touch the fabric. But I hope to be able to share my passion for the fabric with you. Today I did want to show you a print that I recently discovered. Let me move this out of the way. You all know that I am a fan of Hawthorne Threads. They don't pay me anything. They're not a sponsor. I don't even know if they know how much I promote them. But I wanted to explain the reason that I continue to shop with Hawthorne Threads is because they started, it's a couple, Charlie and Lindsay, and they started selling their fabric on Etsy right about the same time that I was launching my Etsy shop, Watermelon Wishes. And I would order fabric from them, and they would ship very quick, and they just made it so easy for me to offer my customers a lot of choices. And then the day came for Hawthorne Threads that they were going to take a huge leap of faith. Charlie was quitting his job, and they were launching an online fabric shop. So they were saying goodbye to Etsy, launching their own website. They have 2 little girls. Like, this was a huge leap of faith for them. That's been probably now 4 or 5 years since they've taken that chance, and since then they've really grown their business. They've continued that awesome customer service, and I am just really loyal to Hawthorne Threads because they have facilitated my business and provide me with excellent customer service. But to make wrap this up and tie it all together, they recently started designing and printing their own fabric. And these designs are so incredible. They're just absolutely breathtaking. And here's one example. Isn't that just phenomenal? Like, that is true art on fabric. Now I want to give you the name of this print so you can check out the different colorways. So the actual name of this print is Blushing Floral and Fuchsia on Gray, and it is from the Hawthorne Threads collection called Indie Bloom. So I hope you'll check out those prints. I have a cool idea that I'm hoping I will be able to share with you in a future video on how to make a really simple quilt. I think we can have Hawthorne Threads print different designs for us to create a quilt, but it's going to come on one sheet of fabric, and then we can quilt that and make what would look like we spent a long time making it very, very simple. So this is just a tiny glimpse at what is yet to come, but I did want to reach out to you before 2017 ends. If you head on over to Sewspire.com, you can check out the new layout. I've divided that front page into 2 columns, sewing tutorials and then inspiration. So that'll be your best resource from here going forward. But I will post the videos to YouTube, and I will do my very best to check in once a week and share my inspiration. So until next week, please know the creative genius in me celebrates the creative genius in you. Happy New Year, everyone.